Editing Simplicity HMI screens is intuitive and straightforward, with a number of drawing tools that lets you create your own graphical objects to represent your plant floor assets, as well as out-of-the-box trends, alarm viewers, and the ability to bring in .NET and ActiveX controls for specific functionality. When you're configuring animations and updates for your screen, there's a number of powerful tools that let you not only configure the appearance, but also to trigger events off of different types of actions, whether that's mouse clicks or screen opening, as well as running basic scripts to enhance and extend the capabilities of the screen with a very extensive configuration API that lets you manipulate the screen dynamically. You can add menus and procedures which allow you to encapsulate many actions that you would normally have to script have been wrapped into procedures that let you do everything from change screens to change languages and update different parts of the screen. So a very powerful editor gives you lots of capabilities to do powerful animations as well as extensions, and as always, variables that let you parameterize your objects and reuse them. What I've been demonstrating for you today for visualization so far has been our Simplicity Fit client, and are very performant because they directly communicate with the server and display graphics in a very optimized way. You can further optimize the management of those clients by using thin client capabilities like our terminal services client that allows you to run a thick client on a terminal services server and then RDP or remote desktop into that server with multiple users and each get their own instance of the client, but having to only maintain the screens in one spot. In a similar way, our web space add-on allows you to do a similar thing with the client being a web page or a browser to be able to see instances of the thick client running on this central web space server. Finally, Proficy Operations Hub is our latest addition to the thin client HMI family, which allows you to build native web pages based on multiple sources feeding into a web page designer that you can then view from any browser from a central HMI server. Simplicity supports a sophisticated and powerful event management and scripting environment. On the SCADA server, you can trigger actions based on events that watch for certain occurrences and then allow you to run actions like scripts to do custom processing or evaluation or communication in a very optimized way. This is done in the workbench via Event Editor. The Event Editor lets you define any number of events, like if an alarm is generated, or if points change, or on a time basis. Then based on that event, when it gets triggered, it runs any number of actions, like for example, a script. For example, you can run, when an alarm goes off, you could run a Python script that could, for example, send an email off to someone whenever an alarm goes off. So you can use the powerful capabilities of the Python language and the Python libraries to create, a connection to an SMTP server and send off an email based on those triggered events. The Event Manager supports Basic Script, C#, Visual Basic.NET, and Python. So very powerful. Just Just like everything else in Simplicity, the Event Manager is highly optimized, allowing you to do things at scale, such that you can run events in parallel, in thread pools, or in sequence, and even have multiple Event Manager processes that you tie scripts to, so that you get extreme horizontal scaling and performance from our event engine. Simplicity also supports tight integration with our Historian data logger, as well as the ability to log to SQL databases. In the Simplicity options in the project properties, you can enable connection to historical alarms, the Proficy Historian alarm interface, and data interface. Once you've set up your Historian connection, now if you want any given Simplicity point to be logged to Historian, now you can do that directly on the points, but if it's part of a class, you can do this at the class level and have it propagate to all of the objects. So for example, if I wanted the coolant level to be logged to Historian, I basically just enable that checkbox, and that will automatically start logging that value to Historian. A very powerful integration with Historian. In a similar way, if you want to log your points or your alarms or the status log to an actual database, you can set that up in the project settings as well. Then as you do that, this database logger shows up for you to configure the connection to a database. Another key capability that Simplicity provides is high availability or redundancy, such that you can run a primary server that is communicating with the plant floor and synchronize with a secondary server that stands as a hot standby in case the primary goes down. The secondary takes over and the clients are automatically notified and switch to look at the secondary server, giving you seamless operations even when there's unexpected shutdowns or power outages or any other type of scenario where things don't go as expected. So we support the host redundancy with the primary and secondary. There's cabling redundancy support between different PLCs in case one connection or network goes down. We support clustering. We also have zero downtime updates using redundancy, where we can automatically switch operations to the secondary while we do project configuration updates and automatically synchronize those for you, as well as the ability to do a number of operations in a dynamic way so that as you make those changes, they're propagated to the system while it is running. Finally, I'll highlight just some of the few other capabilities that you can add on to a Simplicity project. One that goes along with our historical logging, both SQL and Historian, is the ability to digitally replay or graphically replay the historical data through the HMI and our other clients like the point control panel. You can do this at real time or sped up time, allowing you to go back and re-examine historical situations to try to troubleshoot. Alarmcast is a module that allows you to set up notifications when alarms go off to go out to email or pagers or text messaging, as well as to devices, including watches and phones. Dream Report is a module that has many templates and out-of-the-box reports, as well as the ability to design your own reports for compliance purposes. Proficy iPower is an add-on that is tailored to the power industry and provides a number of templates and classes to make it much easier to both design and configure your project, as well as get key capabilities like lockout and safety features as you develop a power application. So that concludes our whirlwind tour of the Simplicity product, giving you some insight into how it works, how it's configured, and how you can use it to automate and track your manufacturing and operations systems.